Hi, English 1 students, Professor Dean Ramser. It is Sunday, and I thought I'd send out a meet and greet kind of video. So let's do a screen share, and we'll take a look at the page and look over assignments. Excellent. So we're here on the home page, and the way that I set up this 8-week course is by modules. So you'll see that we have English 1, we have week 1, week 2, week 2, week 3, and so forth. And I'm finishing it up now to set up all 8 weeks. The 8th week I have not set up yet, but we'll take a look at week 1, for example. Before we do that, let's just go over some of the things on the left side of the margin. And on this Canvas shell, we have announcements, and I'll post announcements usually no more than twice a week. Certainly, when I announce it, we'll have a recorded Zoom lecture session, which is optional because it's an online course and you're not required to attend those Zoom lecture discussions. But they are recorded, so you can watch them later on. I'll have you respond to those Zoom lecture discussions by Sunday on the discussion board. So here's the welcome letter. I also sent this out via the Lassen Community College homepage to each of you, so you should have received it by now. The course begins on Monday, the 3rd of June, ends on July 26th. So it's really quick. It's a 3-unit course, but just because it's only 8 weeks long doesn't mean it's less work necessarily. It just means that you got, 16 or 18 weeks of a normal semester crammed into 8 weeks. So it's fast-paced. Don't relax. You need to keep up your stamina to power through this course. So it goes over. You need to be ready to tackle the challenging assignments of critical thinking. And I also mentioned the course material that you'll need, a writer's reference. This is required by the college. You'll need to either buy this or rent it through the library or public library. You might be able to find something online. There's a weekly discussion on each of the chapters, so you must have this book in hand when you begin the course. The novel reading is 1984 by George Orwell, and this you can probably find as a PDF on Google search, although I like to have a paperback myself. I like to hold the book in my hand. I think it's a little easier to follow. And then you also have the Lowell Norton Reader, 50 essays from the first 50 years. I use this book because it's a really good collection of essays, and you can sort of see the different writing styles of these published writers, scholars, and how they approach their topic. This book you'll need to have in hand, although many of the essays you can find online. You might be able to rent this, I think, through the webpage, through the Norton Publisher webpage, or you might be able to rent it from the public library or the school library. So those are the 3 books you'll need. Go to the home page here. I included my bio, a little bit about me. Not that it's that interesting, but just so you know where I came from, and that sort of influences what I expect from you. My license was GED to EDD, meaning that I was a high school dropout, took a college course to pass my high school requirements, and then started college, which is the number 2, and then I got a doctorate in educational leadership in 2018. That also says something about how I view language and text, that it's all symbolic. It represents something else. So the letters GED represents something else. The number 2 represents a verb, to transitional, and then EDD is a symbol of higher education. My wife and I were in Lviv, Ukraine for about 5 months. Then we left, went to Poland, stayed in Krakow for about 6 weeks, and went to Tallinn, Estonia for 4 weeks. And it was quite exciting. And we learned a lot about Ukraine, a lot about the Ukrainian people, as well as the people in Poland and Estonia. So that's sort of me. Here's a picture of my wife and I at the school there in Lviv. and we were both deputy headmasters in charge of English as a native speaker. Very exciting. So certainly challenge yourself. I guess that's sort of the message. Challenge yourself, and you might be surprised at what you can accomplish. Here's a schedule of the assignments. Open this up. And you can always refer back to this PDF file. Summer 24 starts on June 6, ends July 26. It's 8 weeks. And we have the week and the readings and the activity and the assignments over here. Okay, that's pretty clear, I think. The first assignment is an essay, personal narrative, tell me your story. The second essay is expanding on that, going from first person, I, to third person, he, she, they, him, her, and so forth. Ideally, it's going to be about the same person that you wrote about in your first essay, although I guess you could write about someone else. That said, don't write about Nelson Mandela, because that necessarily is really someone that you know, right? So think about someone that you do know if you want to write about someone in the third person besides yourself. The first essay is first person. And then you have weekly assignments. Typically, each week, you're going to be reading essays from the Little Norton Reader. We'll be posting questions on the discussion board and answering questions submitted by your classmates. You'll also have Q&A on the writer's reference for each of those chapters, and you'll have different stages of the writing process. So let's close this and go back to the home page. Here's the syllabus. Again, sort of describes the course, what's expected. There's 5 essays. The first 2 essays do not have any kind of prep work. Essays 3, 4, and 5 have a proposal, have a rough draft, an outline, and then have a peer review, as well as the final draft. Okay, I can see a little mistake here. This is coming from the semester course that was done in essay 6, just essay 3, 4, and 5. So I'll need to fix that, edit that out. Good to see it. The rhetorical précis is a template that I like using a lot. I think it's really going to help you write succinctly and critically about what you've read. Take a look at that template. Okay, ideally, I'll have a Zoom lecture every Friday, usually around 9 a.m. my time. Hopefully that'll work for you. If you can't make it, I understand, just watch it. You can comment on that Zoom lecture discussion video by Sunday evening on the discussion board. I'm not really a big fan of late work, but if something happens, let me know what it is, and then we can talk about it and see how you can submit all your material. I understand that you probably have a life outside of this class, such as a job, a relationship, as well as family. So that said, there could also be some technical challenges that come along the way. I've noticed in the Susanville area, sometimes Wi-Fi is problematic. So I understand if those things happen, but let me know. I can't guess correctly unless you inform me what it is and why you're late, and then we can work on how to get those assignments turned in. There's peer reviews, like I mentioned. Don't copy someone else's work. It's so easy to detect, even AI, right? So don't have AI write your essays. I know what your voice is and what you're capable of writing at this level. So don't copy from the web an essay. There's online tutoring available to the students. Just log onto your Canvas shell and go to the library and set it up there. And again, here's the sort of the schedule. Right, let me close that out. Go back here. And take a look at the first week. Well, we've got course material. These shells have all kinds of templates and examples of essays. I mentioned the rhetorical precis. Let's take a look at that. The rhetorical precis is a 4-sentence structure. So sentence 1 is introducing the author, the genre, the title of the work, the date in parentheses, and some sort of active verb that describes what this essay, this article, this book, this poem, this piece of music is trying to do. So there's a that clause containing the major assertion or thesis in that text. Sentence 2 is an explanation by you of what the author is developing and hoping to present to its reader. Sentence 3 is a statement of the author's apparent purpose, why, and followed by sort of in order to do something phrase, meaning that maybe the author is presenting evidence of poor infrastructure, which is why the bridge collapsed, right? So there's this sort of in order to explain why the bridge collapsed as an example. Sentence 4 is a description of the intended audience. Each piece of text, each piece of art, music, painting, architecture, essays, poems, plays, has an intended audience. Who's it designed for? Who does the creator, author want that piece of text to be viewed by and responded to by? So sentence 4 is a description of the intended audience and the relationship of the author established with that audience. So I want you to sort of follow this template for each of the weekly readings. You'll submit a rhetorical precis for each essay that you've read. You're also going to use this template in introducing your essays in essays 3, 4, and 5. Let's go back to the page. Collapse this. Take a look at week 1. I have an icebreaker as the first assignment, and this is where I want you to sort of share a little bit about you and how you see yourself in relationship to the class. And also I want you to create a alliterated nickname. Mine is Determined Dean, hence the license plate GED to EDD. So I want you to complete this icebreaker. That's the first assignment. Then the personal narrative, which I spoke about. Then the rhetorical precis for each of the essays, which I spoke about. And you're going to okay, I see that mistake. So let me correct that. And just make sure this one is correct. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. I kind of explained what it was. I'm not sure if I like that structure, but it's not 2 assignments. Okay, here's the discussion board. That's instructions to you. There's a weekly check-in on Sunday of what happened during the week with the assignments and my Zoom lecture. So this is where you post your comments or questions about what happened. So week 1 is the icebreaker. It's your personal narrative. It's also rhetorical precis of each of the readings from the Lowell Norton Reader. And then we also have a discussion board on chapter 1 from the writer's reference, which is composing and revising, as well as chapter 2, which is academic reading, writing, and speaking. And here's a grading rubric for the essays. So you can sort of expect what an A essay is, B essay, a C essay. That said, I think most everyone will do well in the course as long as you complete all of the assignments and as long as you meet the minimum word requirement on each of the essays and you meet the minimum requirements for each essay, which is 2 in-text citations in each paragraph. And then you follow the instruction that I put out for you. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I respond within a few hours, maybe a day at the latest. With that said, I'm going to end. Take a look at the discussion board, make sure that's set up right. Okay, it is. Okay, good. I'll review that one more time, make sure that everything is there that should be there. So that said, I'm going to stop the screen share. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm here. I want you to succeed. I think it's fun to be in college. You're going to certainly apply, I think, what you've learned in this course, what you will learn in this course into your normal life outside of college. I had one student who was a cadet who went on to become an officer, and he uses these writing techniques in writing a report. I've had others that have learned enough from this course to either switch their majors from a science to philosophy, for example, or if you're going to be writing a proposal to the city council to change the zoning so that there's more speed bumps in your neighborhood, the stuff that you'll need in normal life comes from writing a very clear, succinct, and arguable sentence. So hopefully this course will help you with those techniques. And with that said, I'm going to close off here. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.